Welcome back to the news today. This is One-on-One. Diplomatic relations between Israel and Spain began only in 1986. Before that, Spain didn't acknowledge the Jewish state, but only 5 years later, it was already hosting the Madrid Peace Summit, the first official talks between Israeli and Palestinian leaders. Over the last couple of years, Spain has been struggling under strict austerity measures brought on by the EU economic crisis. This resulted in a dwindling diplomatic role for Madrid, although it still remains active through its participation in EU foreign policy. With me today is Ambassador Fernando Carderera. Yes. Soler. Me voy a decirlo.
Very good.
And let me start with the Israeli-Spain relationship and economic relationship, because it's not like with the United States. It's not like with any other country, because it started not such a long time ago, I have to say.
You are right. It started in '86, and it is a kind of anomaly because we had a common history in the past with the Golden Age of Sepharad, and we didn't have a present. And now we have a present, and we want to have a future with Israel. The bilateral trade between Spain and Israel is around 2 billion euros every year. And Spanish products are every day in every life in Israel. For instance, most of the buses you will see here are made in Spain. The diesel locomotives that are used in Israel are made in Spain. There are Spanish companies building in Israel. For instance, they are building a desalination plant in Ashdod, which is going to produce drinkable water for 1.3 million Israelis. There are Spanish companies building energy plants for Israel in different areas of the country. And we want to take advantage of the plan of building of infrastructure in Israel. You know that Spanish companies are world leader in terrestrial infrastructure. 40% of the world terrestrial infrastructure is either managed or built by Spanish companies. To give you some examples, we have the second highest high-speed train network in the world after China, before France, for instance. When the biggest producer of renewable energy in the States is a Spanish company. Spanish companies are building the enlargement of the Panama Canal, or they are building high-speed trains between Mecca and Medina or Ankara and Istanbul. And we want to take advantage of this knowledge to do business in Israel.
So because the relationship didn't start such a long time ago, is it good? Is it better? Is it still with, let's say, a little bit animosity or maybe a little bit uncomfortable between the two states?
It's, in a certain way, it has something of still the problems of adolescence, if you want.
Yeah.
Relations are probably not mature enough, and then there are problems from time to time. But there is extremely goodwill from both sides. We want to cooperate with Israel. Spain is a very good friend of Israel, and we want to show it. And, well, it is not only the time of relationship, but the intensity. And we want to promote those relations and to achieve greater intensity in those relations.
It's basically, if we want to look at it in a deeper look, it's like a couple that just got married and they have some problems at the beginning of the, let's say, the lives that they're trying to build. So if you can give me, let's say, one example of something that Israel and Spain are not agreeing on and have some difficulties in.
Well, it's not probably something that we don't agree about, but for instance, well, I am reminded quite often about the Spanish Inquisition, which is a phenomenon that ended 200 years ago. To talk or to mention modern Spaniard, the Spanish Inquisition, is like, wow, it's awesome, no? Because you don't expect that. And it is something that happens in Israel. And, but there is also a positive side, which is that Spain has a very positive image among the Israelis. The characters of both populations are very similar, and there are many contacts, quite often contacts, between the two countries. Spanish saucer, for instance, is extremely popular in Israel, and Israelis travel a lot to Spain. We would like probably Spanish people to travel more to Israel and to see the country, to see the reality of the country.
So I want to talk to you because right now we're seeing something that is, let's say, happening in Europe and especially here, because Spain was hosting the Madrid Peace Summit. we're maybe at the end of the last try of peace negotiation between the Palestinians, the Israelis and the Palestinians. And just today we saw that Israel is rebuilding again in the settlements, maybe preventing itself from getting back to the negotiation table. We're seeing that the international community, the United States, is willing to speak with the new unity government in the Palestinian Authority. Do you think that it's good that Israel is not willing to sit down with the new government?
Well,
is it good for Israel?
It's an autonomous decision of the Israeli government, and I cannot judge that decision. In the case of Spain, we do recognize that new government. We are ready to talk with them. We still consider Hamas as a terrorist organization, and we don't support contact with Hamas. But we think that the government is not precisely Hamas. It is a government form of independent people, not necessarily having leadership in Hamas. And we want to give the government an opportunity to deal with the affairs in both in the West Jordan and in Gaza, and to try to control the situation in both places, and if possible, to go back to the negotiating table.
Punishment that Israel is trying to give the Palestinians by unfrozen the building in the settlement is not in the benefit of Israel?
I don't think so. Spain is a friend of Israel, and it is a friendly country, such as the United States. We don't have the kind of relationship that the United States have with Israel, for sure. But we are a friendly country, and we want to have the best possible relationship with Israel. And we say to Israel every time what we don't recognize the building in the settlement. We consider it that is something that is prejudicial for Israel, and it is an obstacle for peace. And if peace will be reached, it would be good both for Israel and the Palestinians, but in the first place also for Israel. Israel is a very modern country, and it could become a kind of place which will attract investment from all over the region. It could be a kind of example for the whole region. I think this is the idea of President Perez, for instance, who talks a lot about Israel serving as a kind of model for this region. And this is also our idea about Israel.
And let me take you out of Israel and take you back to Spain.
Yes.
The World Cup is just around the corner, and you won the World Cup in 2010. Do you think that you're going to do Chapter 2 in 2014?
Well, of course. But, I mean...
You're really sure?
I am the Spanish ambassador, and I have to believe that we will win the World Cup. But it's going to be very tough. It was very tough when we won 4 years ago. It's always very difficult because you confront the best soccer teams in the world. We still have very good players and a very good selection. And, well, let's hope we'll see very good games, and we will see Spain in the final.
So if we, do you think it's coming in a good time? Let me say maybe the Spanish people need it because maybe the difficult economic situation that Spain is passing?
Well, it was, we have been doing very well in sports for many years already. We have, for instance, Nadal playing Roland Garros. He won 8 times already. It is a world record. Never, no one won 8 times in Roland Garros.
And basketball.
Basketball, soccer, motorcycle, car racing, in many sports. And it was very good for, if you want, it
gave a boost to the economy.
Of optimism to the people. The economy, by the way, is doing better. I think it's the right moment to invest or do business in Spain because we are at the end of the recession. We are already starting to grow. There is going to be economic growth this year. And unemployment is being reduced for more than 112,000 people in April and in May.
So I'm going to try to say for the end your name correctly, Mr. Ambassador Fernando Carderera.
Right.
Carderera Soler, thank you very much for coming to our studio. Thank you for coming here, and thank you, our viewers, for being with us tonight. Tomorrow we will be here at the same time, same place from the Jaffa Port. Have a great night.
Thank you to you.